Hello and welcome back to All Walks of Life. This is always my favorite part of the day. Okay, so the other day I was having a conversation with my friend about my podcast and absolutely love her because she is just so appreciative and informative and just always gives amazing feedback. So thank you. I appreciate you. She's going to know exactly who she is. So I'm excited for her to listen. We were having a conversation about the podcast and she was like, hey, intro, like let's maybe work on one. Right? Okay. Completely forgot about that part. I feel like I just press record and get excited and just get to talking. So I was really glad she said that because I was like, you know what? You're right. I do need to get back at the beginning of this, introduce myself, introduce the podcast. So here you go. My name is Maddie. You're listening to All Walks of Life. With this podcast, I'm really trying to emphasize vulnerability, being open, explaining the different experiences I've gone through throughout my life. Also, eventually, once I have people on this show, learning about their life, their journeys, their walk on this life. We're all walking together. So I think it's important to learn about everybody's experiences and in the ways that we're all interconnected and just really help people understand that they're not alone and we're all here together to learn and to experience it together. So, today I want to talk about burnout. I'm excited to talk about this because it's something that I definitely struggle with. I definitely go back and forth. Sometimes I'm doing great, other times I'm not doing so hot. And that's okay because we're all here to learn. I know that we've all experienced this before, sometimes more than others. And honestly, it can just be very prominent at times. There's times where I'll go months without feeling that sense of burnout. Other times I'm feeling it every other week. It really just depends kind of what's going on around me. Now, the reason I want to talk about this right now is because it is so prominent in my life at this moment, especially okay. So last week, Kentucky Derby, I'm at work, we have these TVs. This story is ridiculous, but it's hilarious and it's just gonna give you a good way to enter into my life right now. So we have these TVs put in place. We usually don't have TVs, so they're on a stand. They're placed different places in the restaurant. Well, don't know who it was, but whoever set these TVs up decided it was a really good idea to put them at eye level and put one particularly right in the middle of the walkway where you come from grabbing your drinks. So as a server, we have our server station, the bartenders are making our drinks, we grab them from there, and then we go to our tables. When I tell you, I almost ran into this TV like 3 times. Like, I would be so close to it and dodge it and be like, damn, I'm going to hit my head on that. So I did my best to avoid it, but at one point I'm walking through and I have a tray of drinks, so I'm looking down at the drinks. Wham! I hit my head on this TV so hard. It like knocked me back, saved the drinks though. And one of the barbacks was like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just more embarrassed at that point. Didn't feel great, but it was funny because it hit me in the forehead. So, had a good surface area, cut me a little bit. When I came back, I looked at my phone, forehead's all red, cut my face a bit, and I'm laughing, like I really just ran into a TV. You kind of got to laugh at yourself for that. So I had explained then that that TV needed to be moved. I was told the TV could not move and had to continue on with my shift. Still trying to avoid it. I had explained, I was like, I promise you, I will hit it again. A customer will hit it again. It needs to be moved. Didn't move it. Cool. Now, about an hour later, I am talking to my coworker because within that hour, my knee just gives out. Out of nowhere, my knee is in so much pain. And I'm like, I'm literally limping around. I felt kind of silly at the time because I was just like, why am I in this much pain? I don't know what just changed, what just happened. I was just walking perfectly normal. So I'm explaining to her because then also at the same time, I'm dealing with some back issues, but the way where the tension is in my back, it's also bothering my ribs. So it's hard to take a full deep breath. And it was in its prime on Friday. And this was Saturday. So it still hurt. It wasn't as bad as it was the day prior. So I'm like, girl, I just need to take a break. Like, my body is shutting down. I'm exhausted. My body's exhausted. I think I'm really reaching that point where I need to take a break, but I also feel stuck because I can't take a break. So I'm explaining this to her. And we were talking about the sections for the layout. And so I was like, oh, yep, let me go change it. Turn around, start to walk, wham, hit my head again. Awesome. It hurt so bad. I hit underneath, I was almost like ducked down the way that I hit it because it actually hit the top of my head. So it sliced open part of my scalp. And at the time, I didn't know I was bleeding. I do know I was pissed off. All right. I was pretty pissed off because I had asked for it to be moved. It wasn't moved. Here I am getting my ass literally beat by a TV. Like, unhappy. So I start crying. I go into the coat check, like our side server area where we can grab all of our storage stuff. And I just started crying. And I was like, I'm actually so sick of this. I am tired. I'm exhausted mentally, emotionally. The day prior, I had found out some news about a family member and their health not being the greatest. And it was a very conflicting feeling just because who that person was, what that brought up, because then that brings up a lot of things that I am trying to learn and understand and work through from my past, trauma wise, all of that. So Friday was already a very emotionally heavy day. I had to come in late to work because of the fact that I needed to honestly just take a break and kind of collect myself. So then Saturday, I was just like exhausted from being so mentally drained and emotionally drained. So that when I got hit that second time, number one, I was also very mad because I was like, I just asked to move this TV. But it was just like, of course, I'm getting beat up by a TV right now. Like, of course, this is the reality. So go to the bathroom, sit in the bathroom and cry for like literally 10 minutes. I could not stop crying. Every emotion that I was holding on to just kept coming out. I don't typically cry that often. So when it comes out, it just comes out. And especially if I'm mad, I'm going to cry. Tears are happening. They're not being stopped. So I have to come out to make my incident report. I'm sitting in the storage unit again, place not unit. It is not a storage unit. In the storage closet. It's not like that you would think. It's actually a nice closet, okay? It's where we all debrief, do our things. So I'm in there and I just could not stop crying. And I told my manager, like, I need to go home. I can't go back on the floor and take care of a table like this. I'm red. My head is bleeding, which I didn't realize. One of my coworkers absolutely love this girl. I'm crying and I'm like sending in our group chat, like, hey guys, I am crying. This TV really needs to go. And then she's like, here, let me look at your head, and boom, it's bleeding. So she's like, no, like she's seriously injured. Hilarious. And I'm like laughing at the same time because what the heck is going on? Also, just I literally could not get a grip of my emotions. So then I was kind of embarrassed because here I am just crying. It's like, really, you hit your head on a TV and you just keep crying? Like, no, life is doing its thing right now. I This is a actual representation of life beating my ass. It's just a TV doing it. Okay. So luckily I get to go home. I get home. So I only worked 3 hours, which also made me pretty mad because I wanted to be able to work a full shift. But then at the same time, I was not okay. I got in the car. I called my mom and I'm just frustrated, and I had shown her the pictures and filled her in and kind of laughing about it, but I was just like, life is really kind of hard right now. Like, this is very heavy. I'm not feeling great about everything. I'm exhausted, but I just can't stop. It's like, okay, I would love to take off of work. Guess what? I can't. I have bills to pay. I've got school to pay. I have things that I need to take care of. So being able to take that break isn't as realistic as I would hope it would be right now. Everyone's telling me, oh, go home, go take a nap, go lay down, go rest. And in my head, I'm like, I have a million things that I can go do right now. I have the day off, I guess. Like, I guess I'm just going to take advantage of this and whatever. And then I get home and I was like, hey, Sit down. Please, for the love of God, would you just sit down? Take a deep breath, maybe touch some grass, whatever it is I need to do, I need to sit down right now because there's no reason that I feel guilty about leaving work. And so instead, I'm going to try to do more things at home to still feel like I'm accomplishing something. This need for being productive 24/7 is so unhealthy, but it's so hard to realize that I'm doing it. And when something like hitting my head on a TV and I'm getting concussed and getting sent home early is the thing that I need to, in order to sit down a little, I really need to reevaluate what's going on here. So that was kind of like a big wake up call for me. Um, like I said, Friday I found out about a family matter. And so I was like, you know what? I need to go home. I need to take a couple days, go get that figured out, go see my family, go see my friends, and just take a little second. So luckily, I was able to plan that around that whole thing. Cool. So I do feel better about that. I get to go home for a second. I haven't been home since December. So that is a pretty long time. That's 6 months not being able to see all of my friends and my mom and my sister I got to see in Brazil, but actually being home, seeing the dogs, just being in Wisconsin, I definitely need that piece of contentment in my life right now. Um, with that day, I did take the time to just kind of hang out and then just reevaluate the way that I want to move forward with this next week. I still really struggled that day emotionally, but I feel like I tried to really let myself feel it and understand that, yes, I have a lot of emotions going on. I'm also safe though. So it's okay to feel these and it's okay to let them come out. I try not to run from it and actually just let it happen because running from these emotions and suppressing them is a lot of the reason too that so many come out at once. So I want to try to work on that. Now, this past week has been amazing because I actually took this past week off of the gym. I made the conscious decision to not go to the gym and also not be mad at myself for not going to the gym, which there were times where I kind of slipped up for a second and was like, well, you're not going. No, we're not going to the gym. Number one, my knee hurts. Number two, my back hurts. Number three, sit down. I've been going hard for a long time now. I have found a very good, healthy base program that works for me. And recovery is necessary to grow. Okay? So taking this time for recovery, I know was the best thing for me. And now that I took that week, like genuinely, I feel so much better. Okay? I kind of got a hold of my mornings again. Something that I do and that I truly recommend to everybody is don't sleep in the same room as your phone. Or if you need it for an alarm, put it on the ground, put it somewhere else where you can't just grab it the second you wake up. Let yourself wake up in the morning and take a deep breath. Get back to earth and remember you don't need to be engulfed in your phone the second you wake up. Like if we really were to zoom out, I like to do this every once in a while when I need to kind of fix and change my perspective. I like to zoom out. And when I sit and think about the fact that this little metal device in front of me, my phone, has as much control over myself as it does, that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. This little device, I get it connects me to the world, and there's great things that come from that. Also, what about connecting to the world around me? What about connecting to myself? What about actually taking a second to look inward and being like, hey, good morning. Let's have a great day. Let's really tap in. Let's focus our energy where it needs to be focused. Let's not focus my energy on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is that you guys use, whatever text message, whatever email that you need to answer. You can start small if this is something that you've never done before, but I typically go the first hour at minimum without my phone. My phone stays in my kitchen. If you need a hold of me, I apologize, but my phone's in the kitchen. I'm sleeping. I'm I'm sleeping. Okay? Laying next to your phone, waking up and grabbing your phone does nothing to benefit the start of your day. Okay? Tap in with yourself. Take those moments in the morning before all of the chaos comes to really appreciate that quiet, appreciate that calmness. I don't let Ham out of his kennel because he'll sleep in his kennel just for now. I need my bed. He needs his spot. We need our time. Okay. I take my mornings, I take about 15 minutes to have quietness to myself. I journal, I sit and just look at the sky, look at the air, look at the greenery around me, my plants. I wake up and look at my plants and just smile. Good morning, Marty. Oh my God, I love seeing Marty in the morning. Favorite thing to wake up to, okay? Please stop waking up and just putting yourself right back into what you've just took a break from. You're sleeping. Allow yourself to sleep, wake up, have a second of silence. Actually, please, a couple minutes, preferably an hour if you could, and then start your day. And then go into all of the things that are trying to capture your mind, capture your attention, and take you away from yourself. Because it is very hard when you have so many distractions around you to look inward and to check back in with yourself. Now, if you're able to, throughout the day, have a little check in. It does not have to be anything crazy. I literally, if I'm walking from one table to go grab another drink at the bar, while I'm at work, within that little thing, I'll be like, hey, how are you? Take a deep breath. I'm having fun. How you doing? Okay, let's keep having fun. It might sound corny, but remember that you need to check in on you. You need to make sure that you're doing okay. I mean, mentally, physically, everything, spiritually, emotionally, check in with yourself, okay? Because we get so stuck on being checked in with everything around us and wonder why we burn out. When are we taking that time to look inward? When are we taking that time to check in and be like, what are my needs right now? What am I missing? What do I need to get? It's not fair to ourselves that we wait until all of the chaos is past that I can finally look in at myself for a second. That is not fair. You are the priority. Take those little spots wherever you can throughout the day because that's going to add up and that's going to make a huge difference. Another thing that I tried to work on this week was doing less. Okay. I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, especially with the gym of I'm only working out 3 times a week at minimum. I can do more if I feel good and I can be content with 3 if that's what I need. This week I didn't go at all and I felt good about that. That took me a second. I had to be nice to myself and be like, hey, it's okay to take a break. We don't need to be doing something 24/7. And when I tell you, you know what I do when I wake up? I look at Marty, I say, hey, good morning. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to go to the park. Ooh, we can go on a walk. Ooh, we can go get coffee. Ooh, well, then we can go get coffee and then go to the grocery store and then we can go there and then we can go this. Well, I want to do want to read a book. Well, I do have laundry. Well, I do have some dishes that I need to get done. Oh my God, the way my brain goes 0 to 100, just like the way that we grab our phone, boom, you just went from quiet to getting trapped into all of it. Now you see all the things you miss. You see all the people that you're comparing yourself to. You're seeing all the emails that you've got to catch up on. All of this stress. When I grabbed my phone this morning, oh, I wish I didn't grab my phone. And mind you, I grabbed my phone an hour and a half, actually, hour and a half, almost 2 hours after I woke up. And instantly got into looking at my school payment, medical payment, all of these things. And I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I'm stressed. And I realized I was playing with my hair, like I was doing my little stress calm relief thing that I do, but sometimes I just really hyperfixate on it. And I was like, whoa. Remember 2 minutes ago when you were zen? When you didn't have to worry about any of this, and then you picked up the phone and now you're engulfed in it, and now you don't know how to take a step back. So I recognized that and instantly I was like, okay, take a deep breath. Yes, these are things that we need to get to and we can get to them with time. Don't just think you need to fix it all right now. It's okay. Breathe through this. And really checked in with myself. And I'm actually very happy that I did because I was getting close to spiraling, especially when it comes to money. I mean, I know that we all love, hate, all of the above with money. It can be very stressful, and it definitely tried to take over my well-being today. So, kind of took a break on that, but take that time to really check in. And like I said, I try to do a million things in a day, and I'm trying to do less. I just had therapy the other day and I was like, yeah, Ham really hates that he doesn't know how to be bored. He hates that I don't just like sit with him at times. And then she was like, who else hates to be bored? And I was like, listen, I get it. I might not be the best at being bored, okay? And Ham has taught me that. Ham has humbled me because I used to get mad that he couldn't be bored, and then I was like, wait, I can't be bored either. Let me tap in real quick. Let me fix that because that's not fair. I need to figure that out. So this week I didn't go get food anywhere. I didn't buy food from anywhere. I didn't go get coffee anywhere. I just simply walked with Ham, did our walks, did the simple things that I could. And instead of trying to fit 500 things in a day, I what do I absolutely need to get done? What are things that I want to do but really don't do anything to benefit me? And what can be done a different day? And just really prioritizing that and making that list of what is a need, what is a want, what can wait. Okay. So that really helped me structure my week. Um, the thing with burnout is I feel like we go as hard as we can until we can't anymore. And I was asking my friend yesterday why he does that and kind of his perspective on burnout, you know, what helps him. And he's like taking a week off of work. And I was like, what about the people that can't take a week off? How do we fix this? How do we change this constant need to be productive, this constant need to go as hard as we can, put all in? What do we do now to fix that and avoid these burnouts? Because we should not be burning out the way that we do. We should genuinely be able to find a different way to approach this and find a healthy balance. And yeah, we're gonna have ebb and flows. Yes, some times are gonna be better than others, but it shouldn't be extreme. We shouldn't be absolutely amazing and then now I'm crying for 5 hours because I can't get a hold of my emotions and I can no longer be at work anymore. So, what are the things that we can do to implement within an everyday thing, within an everyday time span, within our daily lives, just to take a moment to tap in? I heard on a podcast once, and he had said self care isn't always going to look glamorous and, be fun. Think about it. Do you really want to put your phone down and actually take a second to tap in with yourself? Do you really want to stop doom scrolling and actually do something that is a self care thing? Because doom scrolling is not self care. Being on your phone is not self care. Create something. Take it. Can I ask you guys a question? Let me just ask this. When is the last time you sat for 5 minutes and did nothing? And I'm talking literally nothing, just sat there. You didn't have your phone, you didn't have distractions, you just sat. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. When is the last time that any of you guys have actually sat there and done nothing? How uncomfortable was that? How long can you sit with doing nothing before you get too uncomfortable that you got to get up and go do something? Because I promise you, I have sat and done 10 minutes of nothing and, ooh, man, it can be hard, but it is so beneficial. Oh my God. That is another thing that I tried to really prioritize this week was doing nothing. And especially even just like prioritizing reading because I do like to read and I want to get into that more. It's just I don't make the time for it. So this week I definitely made the time for that, but really making the time for doing nothing. That period of uncomfortableness when you're sitting there and you're like, I need to fill this space and this period of time with something. I need to fill it with my phone, with a distraction, with whatever it is. See how far you can go. When you reach that point of absolute uncomfortableness, where you're like, nope, I can't do this anymore, stop, take a deep breath, and be like, nope, let's keep going. That, when you get to that deepest level of uncomfortableness and then you keep going, that is where that growth happens. That is where that change happens. Because that is where you show yourself that you can do it. It is crazy the things you can do when you continue to go after you think that you can't go anymore. There's so much of us that we don't have unlocked. There's so much potential that we have hidden that we don't realize. And we can keep going, but it's very easy to make an excuse of why we have to stop. Or, oh well, I have to check this, I have to check this. It can wait 2 more minutes. I promise you. You can wait 5, you can wait 10. When you have a quiet moment, please stop trying to reach for your phone and actually take a quiet moment. What are self-care practices that you want to implement? What are things that you want to try? What is something you want to learn more about? What is something that you actually want to do that does not involve scrolling, that does not involve work, that does not involve whatever it is that is causing the stress that you're holding? What can you do to change that focus, to change that attention, and actually do something where you're focusing on yourself? When is the last time you showed yourself love? True love. When is the last time you actually made yourself feel loved? Looking at a phone, the amount of dopamine rush that you're getting, it's just dopamine, dopamine. And that's what it like these devices, these apps, these things, they're all built to create this loop and, create this feeling, this dopamine rush. And that's amazing and everything, but it's fake. When's the last time you touched some grass? Oh my God, I went to the park yesterday. Oh my God, I painted in the park. This literally made my heart so happy. And I was with my friend and I was like, hey, take your shoes off. We're just going to walk around, like, let's ground ourselves. And we did that on Saturday. And then yesterday, he took his shoes off before I did and was like grounding himself. And I was like, hey, look at that. It's very refreshing when you actually put your feet in some grass and be like, wait, now I'm actually connected. Like, let me actually feel connected here. When's the last time you went on a walk? Even if it was a 5-minute walk outside, when's the last time you just looked at the sky and appreciated the colors of it? When's the last time you were just surrounded by nature? Tap back in with yourself, tap back in with nature. It is around us and it is here to support us and give you energy and give you that sense of life that you've honestly, like, I just wish that people appreciated Mother Nature as much as I do. And I know that's not for everybody, so I completely understand that. It's just, look at these, like, flowers. Get yourself things. These are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so grateful that I have these, and they're just so beautiful, and they make my heart happy. They were a gift for Mother's Day, so thank you. I love them. But we should not be waiting until we've met our end, that we're crying, crashing out, that people want to call it crash out, like, whatever it is, we should not be waiting until it's that to refocus our thoughts and be like, hey, let me take a step back. That's not fair, because now it feels like you have to rebuild everything. Now you're exhausted and you can't even show up for yourself. You have to show up for yourself every day. Nobody else is going to. Take those seconds when you can. Take those breaks when you can. Even if it's in your car before you come inside, you just got done with work, you got to go home, you have kids at home. The only sense of quiet is when you're in your car driving home from work or going to pick up kids from school. Take a second and breathe and just feel. Feel your body, feel inside, feel outside. Just take a second. Another big thing, work, I feel like, has been a little toxic lately, okay? And it's really frustrating. It's really draining. I'm sure a lot of people can agree and feel that on a different level. When work just gets a little bit too much, everybody's kind of stuck in that same toxic loop where everybody's negative, everybody's got an issue, everything is just not going the way that you would hope it would go. It is so important that when you cannot control the environment around you, that you work to control what you have going internally. Take a deep breath. And I just keep saying take a deep breath because genuinely, I used to forget to breathe. That sounds funny because obviously I'm breathing, but no, I used to forget to consciously take a deep breath and actually feel the breath go through my body. When I would be working with clients at the clinic and they were feeling a lot of emotion, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of everything that they're trying to work through, I'd be like, hey, will you just do me one favor? will you just take a deep breath and actually just focus on that and how that feels and how you feel it move through your body? And then we can continue. Because tapping back in with yourself and bringing your conscious mind back inwards is so important. Okay? It's so important. It's so important. And when you do this, and I really hope that if you're listening to this, you're able to just take a deep breath and while you're listening to this, like do what you need to do, but try to make this a practice that happens often enough where you're able to just connect with yourself because we lose sight of who we are. And that's where this burnout comes from, is losing sight of who you are because you're so deep into everything that's going on around you, trying to control everything around you, trying to understand everything. And it's like you can only control and only do so much. And you really can only control yourself at the end of the day. So if you're not even willing to look at yourself, in yourself, feel yourself, all of it, like the chances of you avoiding burnout probably aren't great. Okay. When you can't stop because you have multiple jobs, when you can't stop, you have school, jobs, kids, dogs, whatever it is life is throwing at you, when you can't just take a week off, what can you do daily, weekly, whatever practice it is that will take just a couple minutes? What can you do to help avoid this? Also, quit trying to make everything perfect. My word of the day today is imperfection. And this week, I actually adopted this idea of every day I want to have a word for the day. And I absolutely love it. Let me show you. I have been writing it on my calendar. I need to update it, obviously, because it's currently Monday, but I have love, peaceful, growth, quiet. I know one of the days was expand, one of the days was control, and then today is imperfect or imperfection. The reason I want The reason I chose imperfection for today is because I had the conversation about my podcast and about starting the introductions and everything. And I've kind of had the conversation with different people about, I didn't want to wait until this was perfect. I didn't want to wait until I had mics, which shout out my friend Brogan and Billy. They bought me mics. Thank you guys. I love you and appreciate you so much. And I'm sure the listeners appreciate you guys as well because hopefully the audio is much better than what it was. But I didn't want to wait until it was perfect. I didn't want to wait until I had all of these things in order to start sharing a message and spreading a message and really tapping into what it is that I find important in life. I didn't want to wait. I don't want to wait until each episode is perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. There was a split second earlier where I was like, maybe you don't even have the idea right. Maybe you don't even, are you even qualified to be speaking about this? Literally, as I'm talking to the camera, I had that thought. Okay. Understand that this is still nerve wracking. This is still hard for me too, but I'm still doing it because I'm not going to wait till it's perfect to do it. I'm going to find what works for me throughout the journey of it. And that's what's exciting. That's what makes this so special to me because some of them are going to be perfect. Some are going to work for people. Some aren't going to work for people. We're going to use all of it to make things better, but by no means do I need to be perfect because if it's perfect, what is there for me to improve on? I want to improve on things. I want to try different things. I want to learn about myself and what I could do better at and I could learn more about. So stop trying to make everything perfect. Stop waiting until things are absolutely just right in order to do them. Take that leap and do them. Stop waiting. You know, having these words of the day has helped me so much because throughout the day, like I had peaceful for one of them and I actually got a massage this past week. And I struggled to just sit there. I was like, okay, no, I should leave. I should go to the store. No, this is your only day off this week. I tried to fill the day with things to do. There were so many times throughout the day where I had to be like, Madison, hello, we don't need to be doing something right now. I wish that I could document how many times this was happening throughout that day itself, but every day in general. I sat there and I was like, you know what? This is peaceful. Trying to find a way throughout the day where one thing or one idea that I can incorporate that word, because now I'm making the conscious decision to tap back in with myself and be like, hey, the word of the day is expand. And right now we're going to expand on my health. We're going to expand on my knowledge. We're going to expand on whatever it is. I'm asking somebody, I actually had a conversation with somebody and I was like, can you expand on that? Because I wanted to learn more about what they were telling me about. And, today, right now, I'm telling you about imperfection. The one day it was growth. And my dog actually laid down on the patio because I put a blanket out there for him. And I was like, hey, that was growth. That was growth. There was a small win, but we appreciate the small wins. These little things throughout the day that I get to be like, wait, this is the word for the day. This is what I was working on. It's exciting. It gets me excited and it allows me to have that sense and have that feeling where I can actually feel something. Being numb sucks. Being numb hurts because when the emotions do come back, they come back. You can never really outrun them. They're going to show up at some point. And avoiding that numbness, that allows me to be like, hey, wait, I'm still human. Hey, we're still humans at the end of the day. We're still people. Yes, we have so much going on in the environment around us. Wow, I'm talking fast. So sorry. I'm getting excited. We have so much going on around us that it's so easy to forget that we are human at the end of the day, that we are individuals, that we are people. And we deserve to be able to enjoy that and make your life whimsical. Like yesterday when we were painting in the park, I was like, this is so whimsical and this is so fun. Because that's what life's supposed to be about. Yes, we have to work hard. Yes, we have to really do the most sometimes just to get by. And it can be so frustrating and exhausting. Also, while we're doing that, make life fun. I talked about this in the last episode. Make things fun. This is why I'm always so happy. Because even when things suck, I'm like, you know what? This is fun. Yes, I just got my ass beat by a TV. Haha. It doesn't need to be that serious. Yes, it hurt. Yes, I was bleeding. Yes, I went home and missed a couple hours of work. And life still keeps going. Sometimes I got to remind myself that the world is still spinning, the grass is still growing, the birds are still chirping, like truly. Let's take a step back. Sometimes I literally picture myself as a little ant and I zoom out and I just view the entire world and the entire universe and everything around me and remember that it doesn't have to be that serious. I can take a deep breath and I can tap back in with myself. So, if you didn't get the message, a big thing that I'm working on and the big thing that I want to advocate and hope that people can work on with me is that we deserve to check in on ourselves. We deserve to have somebody making sure that we're okay, and we need to be that individual that are making sure that we're okay. Center yourself, come back to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are with yourself all of the time. You really can't outrun you. And you shouldn't want to, you shouldn't have to. Okay? Do small things, do the little things. Take that moment in the morning, smile at yourself in the mirror. Even when you feel terrible about yourself, be like, hey, you're still killing it. You still have made it this far. Even if I'm at my lowest right now, guess what? I'm going to get myself out of this. This is temporary. Let's do this, okay? When you reach those lows, take a second, appreciate it, and use that low as a foundation, as a stepping stool to go forward. Instead of using those lows as a crutch, those lows can be those stepping stools, okay? Do what works for you, but remember that self-care is not always going to be easy. Self-care is not always going to be fun because sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes we're just too lazy and we just want to scroll, we just want to lay down, we just want to do whatever. I get that. but still do one thing to make sure that you are okay and that you are able to take care of yourself, okay? And do it in a way where you're not engulfed in your phone. Please, for the love of God, remember that this is just a little metal device. This is literally just a metal device that is currently controlling your life. Please remember there are things going on around you. Please go talk to somebody. Go say hello. Go ask about somebody's life, about their day, whatever it is. Make a friend. Have a conversation. Go pet a dog. Go to a dog park and just sit there and let the dogs just hang out and maybe pet a dog. Whatever it is that tickles your fancy, go tickle it. Please. Okay? Take care of yourself. We have one conscious life. Please do not waste it on working and not appreciating even the small moments because we deserve to appreciate them. Okay? Thank you for giving me my TED Talk. Okay, but actually, no, I appreciate the support and I appreciate people reaching out and having a conversation with me about my podcast, my progress, and just everything. I really appreciate the way that people have talked to me about my vulnerability within these episodes. I think that is so important. And, there's things that, like in that last episode, I had a chance to talk about my experience in the gym. And I think that that is a really good episode for people to listen to because it's not just about the gym, it's about trusting yourself and pushing yourself in all aspects of life. And I do need to do a better job with promoting and really spreading the word of what my episodes are about. So I definitely will be working on that. But the things I said in that episode were things I haven't had conversations about with other people. Like, I haven't told other people about my body dysmorphia. I haven't told other people about, or I haven't even explained to a lot of people about how hard that recovery was from my ACL. There are a lot of things that people don't know. And, I had a conversation with my friend and she was like, the person you are, and obviously, I've only known her for a couple months. And she was like, the person that you are, I would have no idea the things that you have struggled with because the level of confidence that you show. And I've always thought that you were a very confident individual. And, that makes me very happy because at the end of the day, the issues that I've struggled with, the things that I have experienced and been resilient through, don't get to define who I am. I get to decide who I am now and the way that I carry myself and the way that I've worked through the things that have happened. And we all get to make that choice. We all get to decide where we want to go and what we want to become. So remember, we're all struggling. Sorry, let me try again. Just remember, we're all struggling with different things. We all have different paths. We all have different highs and lows. We all have different things to share, okay? Go try to learn about others. Go try to learn about new things and really expand your circle. Like, you're not a burden. Please don't feel like you're a burden by trying to have conversations with people and getting to know people. You are loved. Make sure you remind yourself that number one, you are loved and that you are safe. Okay, take those deep breaths. Tap in with yourself. You guys are all incredible, and I appreciate all of your support and any feelings, thoughts, emotions that come up through this that anybody wants to ever talk to. I am always open to have conversations. So I really appreciate you guys walking this journey with me and really excited for more to come. So continue to follow along. I'm actually going to start a little YouTube channel and be posting these videos. So now you get to see this face and me rapidly talking. You get to see Marty, see my flowers. I'm still obsessed with these. They're opening it up and I'm so excited. But come along with me. This is exciting. Life is supposed to be fun. So let's have fun together. I hope you all have an amazing day and please go tap in with yourself and do something different for yourself. Show yourself some love. You deserve it. Have a great day. Okay. I thought I was done, but then I remembered that one of my friends was like, hey, maybe at the end of the podcast episode, you could talk about or maybe have reflective questions. And I was thinking about that and I was like, wait, that's a really good idea. And then I actually just had therapy. And in therapy, she was like, here, I have some questions that I'm going to send you. So I feel like this is a perfect time to kind of utilize. I have some written down. So I have 4 that I'm going to ask. You can answer them now. You can never answer them again if you want. You can come back to them. However, this works for you, but I feel like this is another good way to kind of tap in and really think about yourself. Put yourself first here. So, the first question I have is, what would rest look like if you didn't have to earn it first? That question got me. That one hit me like, damn. Rest to me does feel like I have to earn it. And that can be really frustrating that, someday I'm like, I earned this coffee, I earned this. And like, I can just do this whenever I want and actually take care of myself. And it just doesn't have to be you have to earn this. It can just be, hey, love you. Like just little acts like that. Okay. The next question is, when do you feel most like yourself? I think that's a good question to ask, especially figuring out what works for you in a term of self-care, what works for you in the terms of taking care of yourself instead of waiting for it to pop up. It's what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel like yourself, what makes you happy. Ask yourself that. And how can you get to that? How can you do that? And what can you do to create that safe, happy place? A question I think kind of builds off of that is the third one, which is, what do I need more of in my life to feel grounded and secure within myself? What are you missing? What is it that you feel like is lacking? What can you do more to support yourself? Okay. Now, the last and final question is, what are you afraid of happening if you were to slow down? Realistically, what happens if you slow down just a little bit? That goes back to the, what do I need to do today? What do I want to do? And what can wait? What happens if you slow down? Okay. These are all just some extra questions that I've been trying to ask myself. And I think that, within this journey, I want to share with you what works for me and what doesn't, and the things I'm trying right now. So these reflective questions I think are important. And if you want to try them, go ahead. If not, perfectly fine. But just something to get your mind moving. And on that note, thank you again and have a great day.